I'm Jamie Z, and this is the $1 Million Highway. We're going to be exploring the $1 Million Highway, that section of US 550 which runs between Silverton and Ouray, Colorado. This is downtown Silverton. It started out as a mining community, but today it's a big tourist destination. Its biggest tourist draw is the Durango-Silverton Narrow Gauge Railway. The $1 Million Highway is considered one of the most beautiful and dangerous roads in the United States. It goes from here in Silverton, 24 miles to Ouray. We'll be stopping at points of interest along the way. All right, let's hit the road. The $1 Million Highway is one of the most avalanche-prone sections of road in the United States, so it's fitting that we begin our journey here in the middle of a debris field from an avalanche that happened just a few months ago. If you look across the highway, you can see the trunks and stumps of the trees that were torn by the snow. In fact, you can still see snow, and I'm filming this in the middle of July. The debris field continues across the highway in front of me behind the camera, yet the roadway is clear. The highway department here does a fantastic job of keeping this road clear. Here at just over 10,000 feet in elevation is a rare alpine wetland called the Chattanooga Iron Fen. Chattanooga for a town site that used to exist nearby, iron because of the high iron content in the water, and fen is a word that refers to a wetland that's fed primarily by groundwater. The information sign nearby says you might see elk or marmot in the area, and I've seen both nearby, but only deer in the wetland. We're going to be leaving here and climbing the hill to go over Red Mountain. We've reached the top of the $1 Million Highway. This is Red Mountain Pass at an elevation of 11,018 feet. You're not going to find too many paved highways at this elevation. The pass divides the Animas and the Uncompahgre watersheds, though both rivers eventually flow into the Colorado River. This also divides the two counties, with San Juan County to the south and Ouray County to the north. This pass was first traversed in 1878, but the first real road was built by Otto Mears in 1882, and there's a small marker commemorating that over here. This poorly maintained marker was installed in 1929 by the State Historical Society of Colorado. It commemorates the first road built over Red Mountain Pass by Otto Mears in 1882. The road was improved in 1924. Behind me is the Yankee mine, one of a handful of mines you'll pass along the $1 Million Highway. The Yankee was one of the richest silver mines anywhere in the world, and it operated for 16 years, closing in 1898. Today, it's the subject of a cleanup and reclamation project. There are a handful of ghost towns along the $1 Million Highway, and this is perhaps the best preserved and easiest to get to. This is Ironton. It was established in 1883 and at one point had over 300 buildings. Today, they're just a handful of structures. Over 1,000 mine workers used to live here, but as mining left the area, so did the workers. And the last remaining resident, a man named Milton Larson, put Ironton on the map in 1961 when he appeared on the game show, I Have a Secret.
Panel, Mr. Larson is the most important citizen in Ironton, Colorado. As a matter of fact, Mr. Larson is the only citizen in Ironton.
As I've said, the $1 Million Highway is one of the most dangerous roads in the United States, and the Highway Department keeps this road open almost 365 days a year. The workers who keep this road open are heroes in my book, and not all of them have made it home. This marker was placed in their honor, and it reads, "This memorial is dedicated to those who have given the supreme sacrifice in the maintenance of Red Mountain Pass. The lonely vigil of the night is known only to these men of courage." The names are Robert F. Miller, Terry L. Kisbaugh, and Eddie J. Imel. If you haven't seen one of these, the structure behind me probably looks a little odd. It's an artificial tunnel called a snow shed. And as far as I know, this is the only one we have in Colorado. The purpose is to protect the roadway from an inevitable avalanche. See, this area is particularly prone to heavy avalanche activity. Though the snow shed doesn't always work. In fact, the road was closed last year for about 2 or 3 days because of an excessive avalanche. In fact, the ditch below the camera here is entirely covered with snow and avalanche debris.
This is it, the most spectacular view along the $1 Million Highway. And you might be wondering about that name, and the truth is nobody really knows for sure, but the point is this was a very expensive road to build. Automakers cut the road right from the side of the cliff, and look closely, there aren't any guardrails, and that's intentional. See, in the winter, if there were guardrails, they wouldn't be able to plow the road and keep it open. It also makes it very scary to drive. This is Bear Creek Falls. No, not the falls you see behind me. That's just snowmelt. But Bear Creek Falls is just a short walk from where I'm sitting. This is my one recommended must stop along the $1 Million Highway, which is kind of ironic because I think a lot of people pass this place by without knowing what's here. See, the falls aren't visible from the road. In fact, the road goes over the falls. It's really quite amazing. We've got a couple more stops in front of us, and then Ouray. The show is almost over. That's Ouray behind me, the end of the $1 Million Highway. Ouray is another mining town that's become a tourist destination, and it's thriving. We've got one more stop for you, so stick around. And that, my friends, is the $1 Million Highway. I'm in downtown Ouray right now, and after a drive like that, there's nothing better than a cold drink. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around.